Yo, what is going on YouTube? This your boy Kamen Zero Spike back again once again today, people. Today we have Kamen Gotchard episode 4. And in this episode, Spanner has joined the academy. But he's just been sitting here, you know, he A rank, you know. He ain't finna be out here with y'all students and all the other BS, man. He ain't no student. I'm just here helping y'all out because I was sitting here to do it. I don't mess with y'all like that. Anyway. But in this episode, we do see that we have gotten introduced to our new form in this episode, and at least 3 new Kimmies. 4, not well, some we've seen before, but 3 new Kimmies and a new form, and the return of a previous form, which I knew we weren't gonna see the last. Like I knew we were gonna see this form again, but the form we got then this didn't really do much. It wasn't really the main. I mean, it was the main debut, but it didn't really. It was cool. It didn't really do much though. So in this episode, basically takes place right after the last episode, where we see Spanner ends up defeating the minor dude who was trying to kidnap Kudo. We did see that he ends up taking the Kimmy card from that guy, and ends up giving it to Kudo, which was it was like a minor. It was a minor. It was a big submarine. I don't know why that word is always so hard for me to say. It's a freaking submarine. So he ends up giving her that card, and he shows like no acknowledgement to Ichinose whatso freaking ever. Like he completely disrespects him. He even tells him that, hey, just because you have been given that driver, I do not acknowledge you as the Kamen Rider. So yeah, so Minato's like, yep, just the same as always, huh? So we see that news about Ichinose, his Kamen Rider form, him defeating monsters and stuff, has kind of gotten like in the news and stuff like that, and they don't have any pictures of him or anything like that, but he hears this news from his Kijaki or Kijaki, his homeboy, talking about the monsters and stuff, and he said, oh, this rider guy is like a hero of justice stuff, and we see that kind of boosts Ichinose's ego again. But we end up seeing they end up going back to school. We see that he's all like giddy and whatever about it. He tells Kudo about it, and then that's when Ichinose is not confronted, but he's confronted. He was confronted by the other 2 students who, the one girl who was trying to get him to like give her trade Kimmies with her. She basically says that, hey, I'm trying to do something, trying to capture, other Kimmies. So can I borrow Mantis? So she wants to borrow Mantis. And he doesn't feel right about it because he feels like trading Kimmy seems kind of wrong. But she basically says that, hey, I just want to borrow it, but and I'll return it to you when we're done with them. But I'll give you these other 2 Kimmys, to help you out. So she ends up giving him 2 Kimmy cards, which is Energy and Sakamaru, which is like a ninja. And he looks really cool, and I like his voice. I like his voice really good. I like it. So in this, we are just seeing that he ends up getting these 2 new Kimmies from her, and then that's when Minato pops in and says, hey, we're getting a new person to help us find all the Kimmies. And like Ichinose is happy. Ichinose is excited about a new student coming out to help them. It turns out it is Kunigane. Kunigane walks in there with his boots and his jacket and his freaking tie and his freaking theme music. He comes in there, and for some reason he's really nice to Kudo. Like you could tell, like he likes her. Like you could tell. It's all over his freaking weirdo face. But he's still like completely ignoring Ichinose. And that's when Minato says that, hey, he is an A rank alchemist sent by main brass. So he's been sent here to help them out. And he tells Kudo that, hey, I am not a student. Me being here means that me and you are basically equals. We're the same league. So don't treat me like a student. And Minato's like, all right, cool. Man, yeah, whatever. So that's when Kudo and Ichinose begin talking and stuff. He invites her to come to his restaurant and stuff. So he invites her to come to his family's restaurant and stuff. He says he's gonna cook her something real unique, and she doesn't like agree or anything. But she's like, she seems like it's kind of weird. Like her face is like creepy, but that's when they get in they're walking and they get an alert that a new Kimmy has been sighted. So they end up going to find that Kimmy. They end up inside this in this building. It's all dark and stuff, and that's when the weird sisters, the abyssal sisters, actually appear there, and they show that they have captured a Kimmy, which is called an ant trooper, and they tell the middle sister, the little sister, the little bitty one, obviously who's the freaking leader. She says that we need the driver from you, so we're using Kimmy, because we're using Kimmy's the correct way, the right way, and we need that driver to open the final door. She says final door, which is like, I don't know what door y'all trying to open, the door to hell. I don't know what's going on there, but he says that no, I'm not giving y'all the driver. Obviously you guys aren't using Kimmy's correctly and stuff. So the other two sisters end up leaving, and one sister stays, and she ends up using the ant trooper Kimmy to become amalgam. And when she becomes amalgam, she flicks this little like an antenna thing, and they end up getting warped inside of a like tunnel kind of area. And when they get her and Kudo and Ichinose get ported to this underground like looking area, and immediately I thought, this is ant tunnels. These are underground ant tunnels. She's using the ability of ant trooper to create these basically to create these tunnels or whatnot, and she surprise attacks them. When she surprise attacks them, she's able to shoot acid. She's also able to create clones of herself. And we see that Kudo is using her alchemy abilities and stuff. She's making walls and blocking stuff. And then that's when they like end up running away from the clones. And I'm like, Ichinose is in full Kamen Rider form. Why aren't you fighting these things? They're just clones. Like, yeah, they shoot acid, but still, like, why are you fighting these things? I'm like, I was like, bro, you're a whole Kamen Rider, and you're in your like base form. You're hinched up, you're suited up. Why aren't you even trying to fight these things? So it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way, because any other writer would be like, hey, let's hit. But they end up running from these things, and even though they're running from these things, they kind of can't like get away from them. So Kudo ends up using her. So the cave-in happens. Kudo ends up using her alchemy to create like these ice pillars. These ice pillars can't hold up the ceiling long enough, and two clones that were chasing them ended up getting like basically destroyed. So they ended up. Not gonna be cool. Hey Soul, they keep running, and while they're still running, they ended up using the Sakamaru. Yeah, they end up using Sakamaru to get away from the abyssal sister that's also chasing them. We even see that she shoots acid onto Ichinose, making him go back into his like civilian form. So he uses Sakamaru to create a smoke bomb, and when they create the smoke bomb, they are able to like teleport away from her. And she did end up telling Kudo that her father is dead. They end up telling her that her father is dead. They killed her father. And she talks, even Ichinose says that, yeah, like when he gave me the driver, he protected him, and he protected me and the Kimmies, and that's how we were able to get away. So now Kudo is kind of like frustrated that her dad's actually dead, because she goes on this whole thing about how her dad was always taught her how to always obey the rules and stuff like that, and he ends up betraying us. He ended up betraying us and breaking those rules himself. And I always told myself that if I ever saw him again, I'm gonna really let him have it. Like, I'm gonna tell him off and stuff. And she, he's dead and stuff like that, and she doesn't want to leave now. Like, she's had a whole like breakdown. She doesn't even want to leave this whole place. So Ichinose kind of motivates her, basically saying that, Even though I don't know what I really want to do with my life, I still want to go back home to my mom and help her with the restaurant stuff that my dad started, and I want to see her smile, when I'm helping her. So, yeah. So he ends up motivating Kudo, and they end up, getting their second win, and trying to get out of this place. And that's when they ended up meeting up with the other abyssal sister again. When they ended up meeting up with her, that's when say just straight up like, I'm fighting this time. I'm like, yeah, now you want to fight? Now you want to fight her? So he's fighting her, and he ends up using Energy and Sakamaru, and he ended up creating a new form called Energy Maru, where he is pure energy. He just looked like beer. He just looked like beer to me. He was like pure energy, and he was able to destroy 2 more of the clones that were chasing them. And then he ends up since Kudo had the miner card, he ends up using the miner. She ends up throwing the card to him, and he transforms into a whole new form called Venom Miner, which would be energy. I think, it was energy and miner put together, creating that. And he ends up using that form to destroy another one of the clones. And that clone, was just a distraction. She ends up seeing the abyssal sister ends up capturing Kudo and telling him that, hey, give me the driver and I won't end her. So he says screw it. He ends up giving her the driver, and when she picks it up, we see that Sakamaru was still in the Kimi capture thing, the Kimi riser. Yeah, he was still in the Kimi riser, and he ended up using his smoke bomb power to get her off. And then that's when he grabs the driver again, and he gets ready to fight her, but he transforms into a body Skabo, which pretty cool. I kind of feel like he should have turned back into the debut form of this episode, but he ends up turning into a body Skabo and ends up taking her out. When he ends up defeating her, he captures Ant Trooper, and now we have a new Kimi of Ant Trooper. And when he does this, everything kind of turns back to normal. And the building that they were in starts to basically collapse on itself. So Kudo tries to use her alchemy, but turns out she ends up using up too much of it, and they end up trying to run for the exit, but it gets blocked off. And then that's when Mad Wheel, we see a hand with a green ring. We know who it is. It's Spanner. Spanner uses his alchemy and sends in Mad Wheel, and he ends up using Mad Wheel. And then that's when Ichinose ends up using Mad Wheel. When he uses Mad Wheel, he also ends up using Pilots, the pirate Kimi. And when he ends up using them together, they fuse together into like a pirate ship car thing, and they end up bursting through the debris of the wall, end up saving themselves. That's when Ichinose picks up Mad Wheel. He looks at Spanner. He's like, oh man, Spanner saved us. And he gets ready to thank Spanner, but Spanner just like give it back, and he's snatching the Mad Wheel card out of his hand. He walks it to Kudo and says, I'm glad you are unharmed, and he just walks off. So after that, he ends up just walking off, and after that, we see Ichinose. He goes back home, and he's in the restaurant, stuff like that. And that's when Kudo shows up to his family's restaurant, and Minato gave her the address to it, and he's like, all right, cool, like I'm gonna create you something real unique. And he makes her some food which looked like some like chicken and an omelet, and she eats it, and she's like it's kind of like, she didn't say it was bad, she didn't say it was good, she just said it was kind of. And he was like, oh man, no gotcha. And the episode was up right there. But overall, this episode was cool. I kind of wish we had seen more of Venom Miner. Like it didn't do much. Like the form really didn't do much. It just shot torpedoes out of its shoulders, and that's really all it did. Like he didn't really do much. I kind of want to see that form do some more, since it's like the debut form for the episode. I kind of want to see the form do more. I mean, I'm not a fan of how it looks either. Like it looks it don't got that much it don't got that much leg armor. It mostly just like some top heavy stuff going on. But yeah, I mean, like, the form is okay. Like, I'm not a fan of how it looks. Colors are fine, shiny, but at the same time, it's like I'm not that big of a fan of the form. But he turns into a body Skabo and made light work of her. So yeah, but I still kind of feel like that Venominer should have been the one to actually take her out, because it was the debut form for the episode. That form should have got some other kill other than a clone. A regular wasn't even the main thing. It was just a clone. And then the whole thing with Spanner just being a whole like uppity kind of douche in this episode as well. Like what do you mean you don't acknowledge him as the freaking Kamen Rider? Like, he gave him some kind of props where he said that, hey, you do decent against amalgams, but I still don't acknowledge you as a Kamen Rider. Like, you gotta do more, bro. I'm like, man, shut up. Like, come on, man. Like, shut up. And you all simping for freaking Kudo. Like, and she just looking at you like, ugh. Like, she's like, okay. Like, it's weird. Like, he just looking at her weirdly. But other than that, man, this episode was fine. I did like, the bonding stuff that Kudo and Ichinose had. And she actually says that she's his friend. So he's getting... No, she's coming around, man. She's coming around. Yeah, this friendship is starting to blossom a little bit. But yeah, I did like the whole bonding situation that they had with each other. You kind of need some of those moments, especially for like characters who are going to be fighting and saving people together. So, and the whole thing about her dad dying, I don't think Homeboy is dead. I don't think he's out here. I don't think he's out of here. Like, I don't think he's out of here. I think that was all kind of a front. And the Abyssal Sisters, I don't think they're the end all be all villain either. Like, this whole, what's this final door thing that they're talking about? Like, could this final door be like, because we got alternate dimensions in this series. So this whole final door thing most likely is in an alternate dimension, and they most likely need all the Kimmies plus the driver itself to open this door. For what purposes, we don't know yet, but she's giving off those clues. But other than that, like, I still personally think that they're just trying to open this door to probably summon something, or like unleash something, or maybe they have a master that they serve or something like that. So yeah, this whole final door stuff, I kind of want them to like elaborate some more on that, or at least have Ichinose talk to Minato. Maybe, hopefully, Ichinose will like talk to Minato about what these girls said. I kind of want to know what that is. Obviously, whatever they're doing is gonna look like some Egyptian type stuff, which is a given. But other than that, you guys, let me know down there in the comment section below what you guys think about this episode of Kamen Rider Gotchard. And I'm going to see you guys next time. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And remember, as I always say, stay henshined.